Hey guys, nothingwired.com. Late last year we've seen the first 50x premium bridge camera in the form of Canon HX50. Only last week we've reviewed the Fujifilm FinePix SL1000, which also carries a 50x optical zoom, and today we have the third entrant into the market into the same space, Sony, with the Cybershot DSC-HX300. So guys, this is the brand new DSC-HX300, which also carries a 50x optical zoom and a number of features that would give this premium bridge camera a kind of an all-in-one solution to your photography needs. Now I'm gonna quickly go and unbox it for you. You see, it comes in a fairly big box, and let's just open it without any further ado. You get a 4GB memory card plus an HDMI cable, although we do not have with our review unit. You also have a 2 years warranty. So once you open the box, you get a few documents here. You have an accessory guide there, then you have some service center information, your warranty card, and the detailed manual here. We go further in and we'll come to the camera a little later. We have the AC adapter here, USB on one side, then we have the brilliant landscape, we have the USB data cable here, the power cord, the solder strap, and then we have the NPPX1 battery. It's a 1240 mAh battery. And then finally guys, we have the camera body here. There you see. So here it is guys, it's beautiful. The Sony Cybershot DSC-HX300. The HX300 has the looks and build quality of the entry-level DSLR. You see, the whole body has a metal mount. There is not a hint of plastic anywhere, which you particularly like. You have patches of rubbers in places where you would hold the camera. The camera is not very heavy, but it's not light either considering the big body. You have the unmistakable long protruding lens here, which straight away tells you the camera has to have a super long zoom. You also have an extended hold here with depression to lock your index and middle finger, so that to give more stability while you're operating at 50x. We also advise you to keep your hand beneath the lens while operating at 50x to add that extra stability. On the front, you have the long Carl Zeiss Vario Sonar T lens, which is one of the best quality lens in the world today. It has 50x optical zoom, as I told you before, but it also has a 2x digital zoom. So at 50x, when you apply the 2x digital zoom, the total reach becomes 100x. It has an aperture range of 2.8 till 6.3, which makes it the fastest lens among all the three 50x premium bridge cameras. It has a focal range of 4.3 till 215, which translates to about 24 mm till 1200 mm in 35 mm equivalent, only optical, and when you couple it with the digital zoom, the maximum reach goes up to 2400 mm in 35 mm equivalent. You also have the autofocus assist lamp here. On the lens, you have the focus mode switch there. So you have the autofocus and then the manual focus. You do not have a DMF, that is autofocus with manual override button. We would have much pleased to have that. You have the manual ring, which is very smooth. It's also made of metal, and it acts as a zoom where you're in autofocus mode, but where you're in manual focus mode, it fine-tunes the focus. On top you have the zoom lever, you have the shutter release button, you have the focus mode button there, you have a custom button that you can assign any function to. In the menu, by default it has the exposure lock function. You have the shooting mode dial, the power button, you have the finder to LCD switch button there. So once you press this, you will have the viewfinder in action. Press this again and you will have the LCD in action, and the viewfinder will switch off. Then you have the built-in flash that comes out from here. There you see. Then you have your stereo mic there. You have eyelets for your lanyard. On the side there are a few ports. You have your HDMI port and your USB data transfer and charging port. By the way, there is no external charger provided in the box, so if you do not buy the external charger as an optional accessory, you'll have to charge via this port, which means that if you have two batteries, still you'll have to keep the camera ideal, because you cannot take this camera to shooting and use the second battery. There's not much here. On the back side you have the kind of 180-degree tilting LCD lens here. This monitor is 3-inch diagonally. You have the dedicated video recording button, your playback button, you have a 4-way round button here, and then your selection or OK button, menu, help or delete button. So this button has the screen display. Here you would find the self timer and continuous mode settings. Here you will find the creative settings, and then your focus mode settings. You have the jog dial, with the help of which you can change various functions like ISO or aperture, shutter speed, etc., depending on which shooting mode you're in. This is the finder adjustment dial, which is kind of like the diopter setting. It helps when you wear glasses, then you can set the viewfinder according to your optimal use. Below you have the tripod socket and the battery and SD card compartment. Yep, so all in all, the camera looks and feels very premium, and we really like the build quality as well as the design. The extended eye cap here that really fits your eyes, and it does not you do not literally bump into the LCD while viewing through this, thanks to the extra extended eye cap there. By the way, the eye cap is also metal, and the lens is particularly very broad, giving it that extra stability, I would say. Let's check out the shooting mode dial here. You're on the intelligent auto mode. Do you see? Once you press this, you'll come to the superior auto mode, and then you'll have your program mode, aperture priority, shutter priority, full manual mode. You have your memory recall mode, which is kind of saving a custom settings. Then you have an eye sweep panorama shot, then the movie function. You also have a 3D shot available, and then some scenes. So here you can select the scene that you're in, and you want the camera to automatically select the optimum settings for that particular scene. Let's check out the interface. Now I'm gonna switch this guy on. There you go, and you can see the info on your display. This is auto info. You can also change the info that you want to display on the shooting screen by pressing this button. So you can have a detailed info, it will give you this. Then you can have your level, and then you can have no info at all. Then with this you can set your continuous shooting and self timer modes. Then with this you can add some creativity to your photo, but note that this function is only available in the 2 auto modes and not on this other modes. You have the flash mode setting here, which will come in effect only if you pop out the flash. Now once you press this, you'll have auto flash off and advanced flash. Yep. Apart from that, you have the main menu button here. You also have a lot of one-touch buttons like these 4, as I told you. Then you have the focus mode button here, with the help of which you can change the focus. It's in intelligent auto, so you cannot change the focus here, but if you're, let's say, in aperture priority mode or in full manual mode, you'll be able to change the focus mode here. There you see. So you can have multi autofocus, center, and flexible spot autofocus. You can also set a function here, custom in the menu. By default it has the exposure lock button, exposure lock function. You cannot assign many functions, only about the white balance and metering. We would have liked it to be able to assign to a lot more functions, like for example the ISO. Now let's check out the main menu once. You have some picture effects there. The menu is not exactly like the Alpha series of DSLRs. This is more suited to the compact cameras category, and but then you almost have all the settings an entry-level DSLR offers, plus some more. For example, in any of these picture effects, you can go down and have some advanced settings there. It's not applicable to all. For example, here you do not have. Here again you have a miniature settings, and you can set the area where you want to focus. So this kind of advanced settings really helps in fine-tuning the effect that you want to put into your photos. You have the image sizes at 4:3. You can have the max possible image size, that is 20M. If you would rather shoot wide screen, then you'll have to go down to 15MP. And you have your white balance settings, white balance offshoot settings, then your metering modes, continuous shooting intervals, bracket, and whatnot. A lot of settings there. So this is the highest movie quality, which shoots at you can see here full HD at 50p. 50p is 50 progressive. This is 50i. So this is a PAL format camera, so you can shoot at a maximum of 50p or 50i. In NTSC mode, which is available in US, you can shoot in 60p or 60i at the max. Then you have the dual recording mode here, then steady shot, and then MR setting, which is called a memory recall settings. You can have kind of a custom settings reserved in this, so that you can go to that quickly by switch to this option here, MR. You can have your in-camera guide. It's not very detailed, mind you. Then you have your setup menu here. The setup menu, you have your movie format. You can also select to have MP4. Then some other settings here. I'm just gonna browse through those. So as you can see, the custom button by default it's AEL. You can either select white balance or metering mode there. Mostly the usual systems, card and other setting options here. There you go. So the playback mode, if you press menu, you can have some retouch options. There you see. You can straight away start recording from here. That's the movie recording mode. Press this again to come out of it. You can have the help straight away from here, and all these buttons double as something else in the playback. For example, this otherwise would give you a help button, but now if you press this, you can delete the images. And again, in the playback mode, let's say for example the zoom in, zoom out will take it to the thumbnail mode and eventually to the calendar mode, and then you can also zoom in on a photo there. Yeah, so a lot of one touch buttons on the body, which really helps in quick shooting, but you know, we just would have liked at least an ISO button somewhere. Now you can change the ISO, shutter speed and aperture with the help of this jog dial. Just press this to select that particular value. You can press it again to select shutter speed and aperture, and you can change them accordingly. There you see. Press the shutter release button halfway through to come out of that. Overall, the HX300 performs pretty well under most conditions, particularly under in a flight. The autofocus is fast. Even at 50x, you can lock the focus pretty quickly. There's noise when you shoot under low light beyond ISO 800 and ISO 1600, depending on the amount of light, but then that's expected from this size of a sensor. However, at night, locking focus at 50x gets very difficult, particularly if you're handheld. So under any condition, in fact, we always advise you to use a tripod where, you know, while shooting at such a telephoto end. The stills are good, colors are deep. Under enough flight, you have not exactly the true colors, but good enough saturation. There is slight chromatic aberration, but it does pretty good job of correcting that automatically. Plus again, the distortion is pretty minimal. So overall, I would say although this guy does not give as many features as the previous two cameras like the HX50 or the SL1000, its auto modes and the overall optics are kind of a little superior than those two. Thank you.